Hey, we got some more interesting news in the world of the occult. British University offers master's degree in magic and the occult. You guys know I like to keep you informed, not only in the things and discoveries going on under this roof, but everything kind of in this weird occult supernatural realm all over the world. And this is not a specific crazy event or discovery, but involves the people who might study those kinds of things. It says the University of Exeter is seeking to harness growing interest in the subjects with a course that will explore the history and impact of witchcraft and magic around the world in society and science. It also says that it is the UK's first postgraduate in magic and the occult. It talks about the growing popularity of folklore, witchcraft, tarot, crystals, things that have been understood as a reaction to the decline of organized religion. Now, where I find this really interesting and where some pretty cool answers might come from is the person doing this said, there was a growing acknowledgement in academia that texts dealing with magic or occult subjects have been systematically neglected by scholarship in medieval and modern history, literature, and religion, as well as the history of science and philosophy. So maybe, some of these older texts that we talk about here that you guys mentioned to me, we'll be getting some more study of those, some more perspectives on those, and that's got to be a good thing, right? Now, for the actual course modules, it says students can take dragons in Western literature and art, the legend of King Arthur, paleography, Islamic thought, archaeological theory and practice, the depiction of women in the Middle Ages, the book in medieval and early modern Europe, gender, society and culture in early modern Europe, and the philosophy of psychedelics. So a lot of interesting stuff here. Maybe we'll get some pretty cool answers here in a few years. More interesting occult, paranormal stuff going on around the world, especially if you live in the Philadelphia area. It says take a look at this haunted collection on display in Bucks County in times for Halloween. But it's kind of cooler than that. It's actually all about vampires, exorcism, and all that kind of creepy stuff we love to talk about here. It's loaded with all kinds of cool stuff like this awesome vampire hunting dagger, a host of different kinds of vampire hunter kits, and all kinds of other occult supernatural weirdness that we love. This is, I guess, some kind of traveling museum exhibit, and it is currently in Buckingham, Pennsylvania, which is, I guess, about an hour away from Philadelphia. So if you're in the area, definitely check it out. It's not just vampire stuff. Here we got like an 19th century statue of Baphomet. If I was in the area, I would definitely be there looking at it. This is no kinds of sponsorship or anything. I just really think this is very cool. I'm just going to go through and show you a couple more pictures that I found online that, make this seem like the kind of place that I'd want to visit. It's even got a room of creepy haunted dolls. So this is definitely the kind of stuff we talk about here and the kind of thing that I feel like my followers would enjoy. They've even got a room for St. Michael the Archangel, which I think is really cool. I mean, if you know about exorcism, that was one of the things that they called upon a lot when it came to those kind of rituals. So if you're in the area, go check it out. The Vampire and Paranormal Museum in Buckingham. This is just came out today, Thursday, October 19th. Wish I could go. Ancient Egyptian cemetery holds rare Book of the Dead, papyrus, and mummies. You guys know I like to keep you updated on the different occult things going on in the world. And here we have another edition of Just Put It Back. You can see here it says archaeologists in Egypt have discovered an ancient cemetery that has stone sarcophagi, Coptic jars, and even a Book of the Dead scroll. We all know this is going to end great. Located at Tuna al-Jebel in central Egypt, it dates back to the New Kingdom, and other than what I've already mentioned, there's amulets and what they call shabti or ushabti figurines meant to serve the deceased in the afterlife. The Book of the Dead papyrus is apparently 43 to 49 feet, that's 13 to 15 meters. Apparently this is pretty rare, especially to find in the place where it was buried. The Book of the Dead is a modern-day name given to different writings for various purposes, such as helping the dead navigate the underworld. They had much cooler names for it back in ancient Egypt, basically the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Now, if you were expecting it to look like this, you're the same as me. I love this version of it from the 90s Mummy movie, too. This really just doesn't have the same flair. Now, as I mentioned, the Egyptologist said, finding one in this kind of condition, especially in the place that it was originally buried, is a very significant find. Another thing that I thought was really interesting, and sounds right out of one of the Mummy movies, is apparently buried there was a daughter of a high priest of the god Amun who lived more than 3,500 years ago. There were also many Coptic jars. I always found those kind of gruesomely interesting. That's where they would place the organs of the people that they made into mummies. Excavations and analysis are ongoing, so look forward to more about this. Haunting mermaid mummy from Japan is a gruesome monkey-fish hybrid with dragon claws, new scans reveal. Hey guys, I like to talk to you about all this crazy, weird, occult-related stuff going on in the world. And while this one is not really supernatural, it's got mermaids, it's got mummies, it's got a little bit of Frankenstein, so I thought you'd find it interesting. Reiterating, scientists scanned this mummy. It's from Japan, supposedly a mermaid, and the initial results suggest it is a, quote, horrifying mix of fish, monkey, and lizard parts. There's actually several of these kind of constructed artifacts. They're called Fiji mummies. That's after the one that P.T. Barnum got in the 1840s. A lot of sideshows have used things like this. This particular mummy was purchased in Japan by an American naval officer, and he donated it to a historical society in Springfield, Ohio in 1906. Several of these so-called Fiji mermaids have been created and shown in different sideshows around the world. I'll show you a couple of them. This one really just looks like some kind of sculpture, but it looks pretty cool and gives you a really good idea of what the concept is here. And this one here is just the creepiest one I could find on Google. And apparently this is the first time that it has been X-rayed and CT scanned, which you can see here. And it says the initial investigation found that the mummy appears to be made from the head and torso of a monkey, sewed onto the decapitated body of a fish, while the mermaid's hands are the clawed legs from a lizard, most likely a Komodo dragon. Now apparently this is not the only mummified mermaid that has undergone such intensive scans, and another one is pretty interesting. Mostly because it was found in a hidden box in a Japanese temple. They expected it to be, it was about 12 inches long. They expected it to be from the mid-1700s. They thought it was also some kind of monkey-fish hybrid, but it was actually basically just a doll made from cloth, paper, and cotton. It was painted with sand and charcoal and held together by metal pins. Various animal parts, including mammal hair and fish skin, were stuck to the outside of it. Now, both of these mermaids and all the Fiji mermaids kind of closely resemble a mythological Japanese creature called the Ningyo. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's a mythical fish-like creature with human heads, kind of like you can think of it as a Japanese mythology version of a mermaid. I've mentioned a lot of times there are many, many different types of mermaid mythologies all over the world. You can see some ancient artistic depictions of these things here. This one looks much creepier and more like the Fiji mermaids I showed before. One last particularly horrifying one for good measure, so hope you guys found this interesting. I sure did. We've got more interesting kind of occult supernatural news around the world here with archaeologists excavate Lam Masu at ancient Kurzbad. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking looking at stories like this. The instinct is put it back. But in this case, given kind of the state of the world, this might be something that's good to have on the outside. You can read about the Lam Masu here. It's a celestial type being from ancient Mesopotamia. These things were believed to protect houses. They were protected in spirits, protection idols, clay tablets, all kinds of things, basically to ward off evil things. I'll go ahead and show you some examples that have been uncovered in the past. And then here are a couple artistic depictions to give you kind of maybe a better idea of what they're supposed to look like. I find this one particularly interesting. You can see it's fending off some kind of evil, like demonic spirits. It says in the article that Assyrian sculpture commonly featured them in pairs, positioned in palace entrances, facing both the street and the internal courtyard. They were apparently much less common in low-relief decorations adorning palace rooms like this one, where winged genie figures were more prevalent. They occasionally made appearances in narrative reliefs, again serving as protectors of the Assyrians. Kind of interesting about this one is it was actually found in 1992, but then was stolen in 1995 and was not recovered until a good amount of time later. And it was also, the main body was reburied to protect from possible conflict, which is the thing that saved it from the 2015 ISIS attacks. Now, the description of what this is used for sounds kind of similar to what a lot of people attribute to things like gargoyles, which are actually called grotesques. But, these kind of protective entities or creatures that they're little statues that serve to ward off dark spirits. This is a kind of protection generally referred to as apotropic magic. This is basically any kind of sculpture, item, medallion, charm, any kind of thing that wards off evil or dark spirits has some kind of power to it to keep them away. So as I said, maybe it's a very good thing to have a really, really big one out in the open right now.